So about a few days ago, I went to this event on our campus, and it was about basically Operation Enduring Gratitude. That was literally the name. So what this event is about is just giving gratitude to the veterans that served our country. Okay? So that's what the entire event's about. So it's on a Saturday night, and I just decided like, why not? I guess I'll go. So I go over there, I go to the event. It's pretty nice. I look around, it's just all veterans, people that serve their country, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And so I get some water. I go to sit down at a table. And as I'm sitting down, I sat down at a table with another veteran. And when I decided to go into this conversation, when I went into this conversation with this veteran, I told myself, I'm going to do this one thing that I'm going to teach you. Okay? I'm going to do this one actionable step, this one protocol for this conversation. So I get to the table. I sat down. And he's like, hello, young sir. What's your name? And I'm like, oh, I'm AJ. Nice to meet you. I'm grateful for you serving our country. And it was from that moment, I said, all right, here it comes. I'm going to do it. So I want you to be able to pick up on what I'm about to do. So I asked him these questions, and I'm asking him, oh, what were you in the military or army for? And he's like, oh, yeah, I was in the Air Force. I flew some planes, did some of this, traveled around the world, experienced this country, that country. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. Wow. So out of all the countries you've been to, what would you say is the best one? Like the most experienced, the most eventful country you went to? He's like, oh, it must have been Italy, Rome, or Rome, whatever. He's like, it was pretty cool. When I was there, I learned this about this country, this country or this language. I learned about this thing. I was like, wow, that's interesting. How often have you used that? Like learning tool that you learned whilst you were in Italy? He's like, not that often, to be honest. I kind of forgot most of it since it kind of happened like around 20 years ago, but there were some skills I used for making a business. And I'm thinking they're like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. What type of businesses did you try to create? Did you get what I was trying to do? Throughout that entire conversation that I've just pretty much summarized to you, I did not say the word I once. The only time I said the word I was when we started the conversation and I shook his hand. My name is AJ, or I'm AJ. That was the only time I said the word I. I was just thinking about whether or not I should do the intro. Why not? My name is AJ. In this video, I'm going to teach you, yes, you dumbass, I'm going to have you do one single actionable step for the next conversation you have. You're going to do this once and just see how it works out for you, okay? What you're going to do is for the next conversation that you get into, you're going to completely remove the word I from your vocabulary. Completely. We are men on self-improvement. We are trying to better ourselves, which means we're going to try to better the people kind of around us in a way. So what you're going to do is the next conversation you get into, the next person you go to speak to, you're going to try your hardest. No, not try. You will, you will fixate the conversation on them, okay? And how you're going to do this, simply go into the conversation and you can say I for like the first sentence if you want, if you have to. But when you go into that conversation, you will speak to the other person in a way where you just confide into their interests. And when they get to speak about themselves to you, and yeah, you gotta have some humility. I know it's tough. Can't have a big ass ego. Oh, I only think about myself. No. Stop that thinking. Right now, you and we're going to stop that thinking, have some humility, and focus on the other person's needs. Is it that hard for you to do that, bro? Or are you so focused on your own cup? Are you so focused on getting your stuff? Something. This is such an extremely important skill that you have to learn. Because when you can make someone else feel important, they'll remember that feeling that you gave them and they'll associate it with you. How amazing is that? The next time someone thinks about you, they're thinking, oh yeah, kind of like this guy because he helped me to, well, they won't even be aware of that. They won't even be aware of that, of the fact that you've pretty much helped them to release something that they were thinking about. Because let's be honest, most of us, you and I, we overthink a lot. We have a lot of bullshit in our mind. And there's pretty much like barely anybody that cares enough to listen to us. So when you become that speaker, not speaker, well, yeah, speaker, when you become that listener, that speaker, that person with empathy, with a feeling of connection, people come towards you. Now, there is a bad side about this. Mental strain. You have to focus. You have to remember about this guy's story. I'm telling you right now, that veteran story that I just told you in the beginning of this video, bro, I barely remember like half of it. My mind is just like too filled with too many things. So that is a downside. Another downside is that people won't be expecting you to have so much as a story. Does that make sense? People won't really be like expecting you to be speaking so much about your own problems, which is fine. Because then you just go find someone else that can listen to you. And the best way to do that is to click. Is to click the link in the description and join our Legion. We will listen to you, bro. Trust. But yeah, pretty short video. Just wanted to let you know that for the next conversation you're going to have, focus the intention on them until you can get to learn a very interesting point about that. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Focus the conversation on them to the point where you learn an interesting fact that they probably haven't told like anyone else. Or not anyone else, but like they haven't told someone else that important. Yeah, pretty basic actionable step, bro. See you later. Oh yeah, and if they ask you a question, your best bet, like if they ask you a question back, your best bet is to reply back to them, give them an answer, but to immediately deflect the question. So as soon as he's something like, oh yeah, and what do you do for this thing? Just be like, oh yeah, I like to ride skateboards or something. How often do you like riding skateboards? Like immediately deflect it back onto them. Make it so short. Your side of the story makes your side of the story so short. Why is that fucking plane flying? That window's closed. Shut up. Jesus. Okay. So anyways, yeah. See you later, bro. Deflect the question that they ask you. Deflect it.